Now, Amara was not known for beauty. She was not known for wealth. She was not known for marriage nor for children running around her feet. She was known for one strange thing. She never ate cooked food. From the time she was a little girl with dust on her knees to the day her hair began to show threads of silver, Amara refused rice stew, roasted yams, smoked fish, even warm soup on cold evenings. While smoke rose proudly from every kitchen in the village, Amara sat alone beneath the great mango tree, eating raw vegetables, fruits, and soaked grains. No fire, no smoke, no flame. And in a village where cooking fires were the heartbeat of every home, this was not normal. At first, people laughed. "She is stubborn," some said. "She thinks she is better than us," others whispered. "She is cursed," the old women muttered, grinding pepper between their stones. Even her own mother once pleaded, "My daughter, how will you marry if you refuse to cook? What man wants a cold pot?" But Amara would only smile gently and say, "Fire takes more than it gives." No one understood what she meant. And in villages like that one, what is not understood quickly becomes feared. Years passed. Suitors came from strong farmers, hunters, and traders from nearby towns. They would sit before her with confidence until they heard, "You do not cook?" "No," she would reply softly. They would laugh at first, thinking it a joke, but when they realized she meant it, they left. Friends drifted away. Women stopped inviting her to evening cooking gatherings where stories were told over bubbling pots. Children mocked her when she walked to the stream. "Raw food woman," they shouted. "Go eat grass with the goats." Still, she never changed. Each evening, while families gathered around warm meals, Amara sat beneath the mango tree, the setting sun painting her in gold, chewing slowly, peacefully, alone. And if you had looked closely, truly closely, you would have noticed something. It was not pride in her eyes, it was not stubbornness, it was something quieter, something heavier. But no one asked. And then the dry season came. The harmattan winds arrived like restless spirits, carrying dust that stung the eyes and cracked the earth. The air grew thin, dry, waiting. That was when disaster struck. It began with a single cooking fire, small, harmless, ordinary. A pot of stew was left unattended while its owner ran to fetch water. But fire is never truly small. A sudden gust of wind lifted sparks into the sky. The thatched roof caught first, then another, then another. Within minutes, flames leapt from hut to hut like wild animals finally freed. Children screamed, men shouted, women grabbed what they could, bowls, mats, babies. Smoke swallowed the sky. The village that once glowed with peaceful cooking fires now roared with destruction. People ran in every direction, trying to save sacks of grain, baskets of dried fish, and clothes stitched over the years. But fire does not bargain, it devours. The harmattan wind became its ally, pushing the flames forward with cruel strength. And in the center of it all, Amara stood still. Not frozen in fear, but watching. As the fire spread wildly from home to home, it reached her hut, and then it slowed. There was no charcoal stored inside, no cooking stones, no dry firewood stacked by the wall, no hidden embers waiting to ignite. Nothing inside her home could feed the hunger of the flames. The fire passed her hut as though it had lost interest. When the chaos finally ended, half the village had turned to ash. The air smelled of smoke and regret. Blackened earth replaced what had once been laughter and life. Families sat in silence, staring at what remained of their homes. And there, standing untouched beneath the mango tree, was Amara's hut, whole, unburned, alive. For the first time in 20 years, no one whispered, no one mocked. They simply looked at her. That evening, the villagers gathered beneath the same mango tree where Amara had once sat alone for so many years. But now she was not alone. An elder, his beard white as ash, stepped forward. His voice trembled, not with authority, but with humility. "Amara," he said softly, "why did you never cook?" The village held its breath. For 20 years they had judged, for 20 years they had assumed, and for the first time they were ready to listen. Amara looked around at the scorched land, the children clinging to their mothers, the men staring at their burned hands, at the women mourning blackened cooking pots. Her voice when she spoke was barely louder than the wind. "When I was young," she began, "a fire like this took my mother." A murmur rippled through the crowd. "No one remembers," she continued. "I was only 5. The dry season was harsh that year, too. A cooking fire grew angry. The wind helped it, and before I could understand what was happening, my mother was gone." Her eyes did not weep. They had finished weeping long ago. "Since that day," she said quietly, "I chose fire more than hunger." Silence. "I chose raw food not from pride, not from stubbornness, not from curse." She paused, "but from pain." The words settled over the crowd like dust after a storm. For 20 years they had created stories about her. For 20 years they had filled the silence with their own assumptions, yet never once had they asked for the truth. The elder lowered his head. One by one, the villagers followed. In that moment, something more powerful than fire burned through the village: understanding. From that day forward, the whispers stopped. Children no longer mocked her. Women began sitting with her under the mango tree, asking about her fruits and grains. Some even tried eating without fire once a week, not from fear, but from respect. And whenever smoke rose from a cooking fire, the villagers remembered. They remembered that every strange habit hides a story. Every difference carries history. Every silence holds pain we may never see. And they remembered Amara, the woman who feared fire, the woman they misunderstood, the woman who survived. So the next time you see someone living differently, before you whisper, before you judge, before you laugh, ask yourself, what fire might they have survived? Because not all scars are visible, and not all strength looks the way we expect. And sometimes the person sitting alone beneath the mango tree is the only one who understood the danger all along. And in the seasons that followed, something unexpected happened. When new brides entered the village, elders would tell them not only how to tend a cooking fire, but how to respect it. They spoke Amara's name with honor. Children who once mocked her now sat beside her beneath the mango tree, listening as she taught them which roots healed fevers, which leaves cooled the blood, which fruits strengthened the body in dry months. They learned that survival is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet, steady, unapologetic. And when smoke curled gently into the evening sky, no one saw it the same way again. Because fire could warm, fire could feed, but fire could also take. And wisdom, they realized too late, often walks alone long before the world understands it. Years later, when the memory of the great fire had softened but never faded, another dry season came. The winds returned, the earth cracked again, and fear, like an old drum, began to beat quietly in the hearts of the people. But this time, the village was different. They cleared dry grass from around their homes, they stored water close by, they built cooking spaces farther apart, they watched their flames carefully. And who do you think they asked for guidance? Amara, the woman they once called strange. She showed them how to create fire breaks in the fields,